This is the first night of a 5-city tour. We kicked this off in Washington, D.C., which was not part of the tour, during Congressional Black Caucus weekend, and I hosted that event. We had a couple of the airmen with us, and you will actually meet one of the original airmen tonight. Bring it slow. George Lucas and Lucasfilms is really the muscle behind all of this. George Lucas has been very dedicated to telling this story. And it is a story about gentlemen that I think we all have heard of, some of us know about, but very few know the full story of the Tuskegee Airmen. And I would, again, encourage you, when you know this is coming on, and when it hits television, please bring young people. It is imperative that they start to know our history. I'm not on a soapbox tonight, I promise that. But one of the things that I have seen as I travel this country and I talk to a lot of young people, and I'm talking about those who can ill afford to have any trips in their lives and those who have been given everything on a silver platter. We have not done the best job that we should be doing in terms of telling our history. We have to acknowledge and start to understand that there were men and women who came before us who were proud and strong and should be put on a pedestal, should be honored as heroes, and should be emulated even to this day.
Well, the Double V documentary does document the trials and travails of the Tuskegee Airmen. It's a dedication to our excellence, the way in which we helped to break segregation. It also talks about the fellowship that we had as Tuskegee Airmen, and also talks about how our collective activity led to integration in the military. It's very dramatic. The interviews are very clear. And anybody who sees this has to know that the Tuskegee Airmen were the very, very best.
The pride of what you're doing. Ever since I was 3 years old, which is as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a pilot. Where I got the idea from, I don't have the foggiest notion. But from that point on, I wanted to be a pilot. And I was.
Tuskegee Airmen, in terms of that drive, that sense of accomplishment, and just doing whatever you needed to do in America. Because the other part of that double V is that you were fighting against the Nazis abroad and the Nazi wannabes here at home, because Mr. Hitler actually admired the type of attitude, racial attitude, divisiveness that we had here. So I can't think of any a better historical perspective than what I grew up with.
Just a documentary. It's the living example of what we can do as a people if we really set discipline as the order. But besides these men having discipline, they came across as men of integrity. They were present, they did what they had to do. And that's what we have to expect from African American men today. It can't be a standard that we can let go of.
I'm really happy that Detroit was chosen as one of the 5 cities to premiere this documentary, and I think that this is going to be a great tool to educate our youth, because too many times they see what's going on in the movies and they take figures like Tom Cruise, Top Gun, and figures like that to be true characters. This documentary is showing what real people went through, what the real people did during the war and afterwards, and the different struggles that they went through.
alumnus of Tuskegee University, it's just wonderful to, continue to pay homage to the Tuskegee Airmen and everything they've done for my alma mater and for America. Seeing everything come to fruition in Hollywood and the entertainment industry is, of course, like a labor of love for everybody. As a community, we're very excited about seeing the Tuskegee alumni come, to the big screen and people pay homage to them on an international scale again now in the 21st century.
The Airmen were action-adventure heroes. That's how director George Lucas saw them. Even when Hollywood said no, women called them sexy, and the enemy called them many things, but they called themselves the Tuskegee Airmen.